This is a 250cc scooter, and this is Highway 401 in Toronto, aka the busiest highway in all of North America. It was until a few years ago actually the largest highway in all of North America because it goes up to 18 lanes wide, which is crazy. So what happens when you take a little small bike and you put it on a very big highway? I'm Adrian from eMotorcycle. I make videos that help motorcyclists. Let's go for a little ride and find out.
Okay, so this is my little Vespa, and today we're going to test and see how it does on the highway. This is totally bone stock, with the exception of the rims have been changed. These cooler forged aluminum rims. That could give a slight, minuscule, but still noticeable acceleration difference, mostly just coming off a stop. Once we're off to speed, it's not going to make a difference. This is pretty much a stock Vespa. Let's see how it does on the highway. Alright, so for those who don't know, Vespa, typically the bigger ones you see on North American roads range from around 250 to 300 cc's. They are just twist and go, so there's no gears, there's no shifting. You just twist, boop, and there you go. You'll notice that there is still a lever for my left hand. That does not operate a clutch, that actually operates the brakes. So front brake, back brake, kind of like on a bicycle. Same idea. Nothing to do with your feet, no pedaling, no nothing, no shifting. Alright, so speed here is 70 kilometers an hour, which is roughly, I don't know, let's call it 45 miles per hour. As you can see, we're having no issues whatsoever. One thing I like about the Vespa is you're kind of small enough to just sort of creep through. So for a long time, what a Vespa typically was, and this is a long time ago I'm talking about, you had little 10-inch wheels, typically 125 cc's or 50 cc's, or maybe 150 if you were lucky. Not too quick. Here we're doing, you know, a very comfortable 50 miles an hour. But I think that because for a long time, the Vespa that people thought in their head was so small and had little 10-inch wheels and a really short wheelbase, you know, it wasn't what you would want to take on a highway. And I don't know that it is just yet either. You know, we'll see whether or not we really can and how we feel about it. See, this guy just cut in front because he's probably not expecting me to close in so fast. That's one thing about the Vespa I do have to say, is that when I'm on my motorcycles and they're big and they're loud, they get a lot more respect. People won't cut in front on the assumption that I'm slow moving. On the Vespa they will. They'll assume that I'm not as quick as I am. So at this point I am full throttle. I'm giving her all the beans. We are doing about 60, 65 miles per hour. Doing just fine. Right now it's showing me an indicated 70 miles per hour, just under 120. However, what you really need to realize is that the speedometer on your Vespa is typically very optimistic. It's about, I'd say, 10% exaggerated maybe. So if it's telling you that you're doing 70 miles per hour, you're really maybe doing like 60, 65 tops. So, wow. Dick move. See, and there again, I had my signal on, and just one asshole. So here we go, we are at full throttle on the Vespa, and we're passing tons of cars. Like, I don't need to be going this quick. Showing an indicated over 120, indicated over 75, so maybe we're doing 70, maybe we're doing 120. And yeah, I will typically try and take the right lane, so if I do need to slow down, I can. However, as you can see, you know, one car has passed me, this idiot right here, so I gotta be aware of him. But besides that, I'm passing everyone. Now right here it does get super freaking windy. Everywhere. Always, doesn't matter what bike I'm on. This is the asshole here. Whatever bike I'm on, right here it gets stupid windy. And it's very uncomfortable. It's uncomfortable no matter what bike I'm on. So I'm gonna just get one lane over. And I try to roll on, but again, I'm pretty much hitting the end of the throttle in terms of how far I can turn. But again, I'm still flying past everyone, right? I'm still making really good time. Okay, that guy's turning, I'm gonna try and pass him. But again, I have a slight uphill, going over the speed limit, or maybe just about the speed limit, but passing is very slow. I wouldn't, on a motorcycle, I would typically want to pass this guy all in one shot. And that's really not happening. The nice thing is when I do pass them, you don't get those side gusts that blow you around on the Vespa. And I think it's because the wind blows right through the frame, as opposed to on a motorcycle where you're kind of more of a big sail. Anyway, our highway jaunt is almost wrapping up here. I will say that it's totally doable, and because I've done this before, I feel totally, you know, okay doing it. But I just came back from touring across all of Italy on a BMW 650cc GS, and night and day difference. The BMW was so much more comfortable for this sort of thing. The Vespa, with its small wheelbase, the smaller tires, it is, you know, it's noticeably less stable. And that's not to say I feel like I'm totally unstable. You're just kind of, you know, riding it. So here some cars are passing me because I'm kind of slow, guys, so let me just get ahead of them. And you can see you can still pass people, and you can totally keep up with traffic and even stay ahead of traffic. Just, it's not going to be as stable as a motorcycle. It is totally doable. Is this my first choice for going on the highway? No. You know, if I wasn't going to be making this video, would I do it? No, I'd take a highway bike. You know, basically any motorcycle would probably be a lot more stable. Other than maybe a Grom. But yeah, you can still make all of your... That's my exit. You can still make all of your passes, just slower. And you gotta just be more careful on the lane changes and on passing people because, yeah, you don't have as much luxury of time. So I think what we'll do in the second half of the video, I'll get back to you guys. I'm going to pick up a girly of my own. Gonna get her on the back seat, and we are gonna...
Now, I actually did a second half of this video where I pick up this girl and I take her for a ride on the highway back home with me. And, you know, there's traffic, so we stopped and we talked along the way. And honestly, it was like 5 extra minutes to the video that I felt like I could just sum up a lot quicker just talking to you kind of like this. So let me sum it up. Power is sufficient, much like what I said with just riding this Vespa 1-Up. Power is sufficient, but maybe not ideal. You can still pass people on the highway, but it's going to take you even longer to do that and even more time and space to do that. Also, same with braking, much like any other, you know, braking on any other small displacement motorcycle. If you have that extra weight of a passenger on the back, give yourself more time and distance for braking. And a couple things I noticed really was specific to the Vespa that stood out to me riding 2-Up on the highway. The first one was there were a couple of occasions where I went to rip that throttle open only to realize I was already kind of pinned at full throttle or almost full throttle and there was nothing left. So that can happen on a small displacement bike, especially when you're 2-Up at highway speeds. The second thing which really stood out is, oh, that's kind of interesting to me as a Vespa owner. Remember how when I was saying that the Vespa was not the most stable on the highway, having a passenger on the back, to me, in my head, made it feel more stable. And I don't know if that's because maybe she's an experienced passenger. She's done, you know, thousands of kilometers on the back seat with me. She knows how to lean. She knows how to hold herself upright. Maybe it was the extra weight over the back wheel. I don't know what it was, but something about having her on the back, in my head, made the bike feel more planted on the highway, more like a train on rails. If you have a Vespa, please let me know. If you've ever done 2-Up, let me know in the comments. Have you taken your Vespa on the highway? Have you taken it 2-Up on the highway? Did you notice any difference? I'm super curious what you have to say. We don't often take the Vespa 2-Up on the highway because we have other bikes here, so it's new to me. So yeah, please let me know your thoughts. Anyway, to sum it up, you can absolutely take a Vespa GTS 250 or 300 on the highway. This is, like I said, a 16-year-old 250. It did just fine, 1-Up just fine. Is it my first choice? No. So to put in perspective, I got other bikes. If I know I need to run an errand that's going to take me on the highway, unless I need that underseat storage space or the top case, I'm not getting on this if I know I'm going on the highway that day. I'm going to take one of my other bikes. However, if I'm already out and about and something comes up, an invitation somewhere, am I going to not go there because I would have to take the highway on the Vespa, or am I going to take the city streets? No, I'm going to take the Vespa on the highway. It's going to be just fine. It's not going to be ideal, but it totally does the trick. If you found this video entertaining, informative, helpful, whatever, please hit that like button. I know it's a weird thing all the YouTubers do, but it actually really helps us grow our channel. So if you hit that like button, I would really appreciate your support. Thank you so much for watching. As always, ride safe, but have fun. Peace.